So a few months ago, I read a book called The First 20 Hours by Josh Kaufman. He was also the author of The Personal MBA, which is another one of my favorites. I read this book from cover to cover. It is 400 pages of business insights, but it was so worth it all the way. He does a really great job of breaking down very complex tasks and systems and definitions into very simple and easy to understand concepts. So when I heard about The First 20 Hours, I knew I had to jump on that. And the subtitle to that book is How to Learn Anything Fast. The basic premise he teaches you in this book is how to learn pretty much any skill within 20 hours. If you want a lot more detail, you can get the book yourself. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But to be honest, I managed to summarize the entire book onto basically just one page and ended up trying this for myself, and it worked. I was able to learn to touch type, which is essentially learning to type without looking at the keyboard. I was never taught how to type properly or the proper way in school or by anyone. I kind of just learned to type by looking at the keyboard, kind of knowing where the keys are, and then continuing to look at it and just get faster and faster. And I would usually just use like 1 or 2 fingers to do so. And I got my words per minute up to, I don't know, probably about like 20, 25 words per minute. So it was okay, it was manageable, but it never allowed me to get better at typing and ultimately writing, which is the whole point of why I wanted to get better at typing in the first place. So after reading Josh's book, I decided that I was going to try and reteach myself how to type properly, how to get better at typing so I didn't have to look at the keyboard, and I could hopefully take my words up anything past 25 words per minute. I can say with certainty that I managed to do this. I did it under 20 hours, as he said, and now my words per minute lies around the 60 words per minute mark, and it's not groundbreaking. It's pretty average or slightly above average. But the fact that I was able to do this in under a month is a pretty cool feat. And so in this video, I'm going to go through exactly how Josh breaks down the method to learn any skill in under 20 hours and then apply that to how I did it to learn how to type faster. So the first thing is to make dedicated time to learn a skill. Learning something new is not just going to happen out of nowhere. You have to make the time for it. When I was learning to type, I dedicated an hour every single day to learning to do it. There were many days where I did not want to do it. I really didn't want to be typing, and especially at the end of a long day or a busy day where I just wanted to sit down and relax. But I knew that the first 20 hours are the most important hours. And if you can be very intentional and energetic about it and put all of your effort into it, even though it's going to suck, it's going to be hard, it's not going to be fun, you just have to do it. Learning any skill that you aren't good at is not going to be the most fun time, but you have to push through that resistance to get to the point where you are able to do it. The next thing you have to do is set a target performance level that you want to reach. I think a lot of people think the idea of learning a new skill means that you have to master that skill. If you want to learn to draw, then you have to become really good at drawing or painting or learning to sew or learning to skateboard, whatever it may be. You don't have to become a master to be able to do the thing competently and proficiently. Again, it only takes 20 hours to learn the basics of something before you can do it and hold yourself up and use that as a platform to then learn further if you want to do so. It's nice to spend the first 20 hours really honing something in and getting the base understanding for it. And then you can decide if it is something that you want to take further and move into the more intermediate or advanced levels. So set the target performance level. For me, that was typing 60 words a minute, and I wasn't going to stop until I got there. His next point is to deconstruct the skill into sub-skills. So typing might be a little bit of a difficult example because there aren't really many sub-skills to it. It's like just do the typing. But let's think about rock climbing, for example. If you want to go rock climbing, there are multiple different things that you have to learn to be able to do that thing. You might need to learn about belaying. You might need to learn about different climbing techniques. You might need to learn about different holds. You might need to learn about setting up topper anchors. There's all different kinds of sub-skills that you need to learn the overall bigger skill. And by breaking it down into these different sub-skills, it makes it seem more achievable and manageable, and you can just tackle one of them at a time instead of seeing this grand overarching goal, which seems really difficult to achieve without any experience. I guess for me, the sub skills could kind of be broken down into memorizing all of the keys first, so knowing where they are on the keyboard, then learning all of just the alphabetical keys. From there, learning all the punctuation keys, then the number keys. So it's kind of just building on top of each other until I got to the point where I understood where everything was and I had built the muscle memory to be able to do that. The next step is to obtain any necessary tools that you need to start the thing before you start the thing. For me, again, it was pretty simple. I had my laptop. I went to a website called KeyBR, which was super helpful for learning how to type faster. But again, if you are learning skateboarding, make sure you have a skateboard before you do that thing. If you are trying to learn photography, make sure you have a camera and an appropriate lens for the kind of thing that you want to be photographing. If you're rock climbing, make sure you have all of your gear before you go to the climbing gyms so that when you get there, you have everything you need and you don't need to start over or buy things or go home and delay the process and therefore causing more resistance to starting the thing that you want to be doing. I think a key word there is necessary. Again, you don't need to be an advanced version of the thing that you're trying to learn. Just get the basics for what you need. You are not an advanced expert just yet, so you might not even need all the bells and whistles and add-ons. Just get the bare minimum of what you need to do the skill that you want to do. It's pointless spending a ton of money on the ecosystem of products that come around certain hobbies or skills if you don't even know if you like doing that thing yet. The next step, and I think this was one of the most important ones, is to get fast feedback. Josh argues that the faster the feedback you get, the better it is because you're able to correct your mistakes much quicker and adjust to see how you went wrong. Again, I'm going to use rock climbing as a great example. If you are going rock climbing outside where you have ropes involved, you have other people involved, it is a lot more technical. You might only be doing one climb every half an hour or even every hour. Whereas if you go to a bouldering gym, which is indoor, there's no ropes involved, there's mats, it's very comfortable and easy. If you fall off of a climb, you can do that climb again in 30 seconds and try something else and adjust your body to see what works better for you. The same with typing. If I failed to hit a letter, I could try that exercise again and make sure that I did it better that time. So there's very fast levels of feedback that I can see this thing that went wrong. I can understand it and be like, okay, now I'm going to try something different. But if there's super delayed feedback, again, going back to the climbing example, if you're climbing outside and there's half an hour between your tries, you're going to forget a lot of the slight intricate muscle movements that you did wrong when doing that first attempt. So now going back to do the second attempt, it's very likely that you might make the same mistake, especially as a beginner with not much experience. So the faster your feedback, the faster you can iterate and make changes and progress and get better. The next point is to practice until the time stops, no matter how frustrating it is. I can't tell you how frustrated I got trying to learn to type. My physical body was like cringing in pain. I don't even know how to explain it, but I just did not want to sit at that desk right there and do the typing, put in the work. It was so difficult, and I would literally almost be repulsed by my laptop, and I could feel my body pulling away. I would get so frustrated because I wasn't hitting the keys right. And it's I knew what to do, but the muscle memory just wasn't there yet. And it is so frustrating, but that is part of it. And you almost need to learn to fall in love with that frustration, because it's only by pushing through that you are going to make progress and get better. And I did get better, but it was painful. So I'm not saying this learning process is going to be easy. The first 20 hours is not easy. It kind of sucks, but it is really cool to know that you can learn pretty much anything within 20 hours. In his book, Josh learned windsurfing, he learned how to code. I think he actually may have learned how to touch type as well. And there were a couple other ones that he did too. But yeah, I just think it's really cool to know this framework so that now you can go into life and approach any skill knowing that it doesn't have to take a massive investment of your money, your energy, and your time. I did this for an hour a day, like I said, so that adds up to 20 days of 20 hours. I didn't do it every single day, but within a month, I was able to touch type at a pretty decent speed, and that's pretty cool. But it took sitting down and doing it for that hour, no matter how much I didn't want to be doing that. The last point Josh talks about is to emphasize quantity and speed. This is, I guess, a little bit counterintuitive to a lot of other advice where it says put emphasis on quality over quantity. But when you're learning to do something new, again, doing something more, putting more reps in and doing it quicker allows you to get that fast feedback so that you can make the changes you need to make. It's like kind of a counterintuitive thing, but you just got to get your reps in at the end of the day. Putting the time in and getting the reps in and pushing through that pain is really what it is. And then you can do pretty much anything within 20 hours. So yeah, that's how to learn anything within 20 hours. I did that to learn touch typing, and you can do it as well. For anyone that is interested in reading the book, I don't want to say I don't recommend it because it was a really cool book, but you can read the first chapter where he explains all of this, and then the rest of the book is him just applying it to his different situations and skills that he learned. So you could probably find some summary on the internet as well if you want a little bit more detail than what I went into. But yeah, at the end of the day, these are the key points. I hope it helps you. It has helped me, and I'm excited to learn my next skill. If you'd like, leave a comment down below and let me know what skills you want to take on with this mindset as well. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.